Hi everyone and welcome back to today's morning report. Charles Fraser on Wednesday the 23rd of March with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Handset Markets. Let's look at euro dollar, and we've seen this euro dollar slide in the last few days. Certainly has to a certain extent been driven by the FOMC member comments, with sort of a hawkish hints on monetary policy. And you've seen this sort of slide back in the price in the last few days, coming not dissimilar to, if I show you on the hourly chart, not a million miles away from what we saw basically just a couple of weeks ago, really, is it? This sort of sequence of lower highs, low lows, just slightly sliding back. And it's continued, and it has broken below the 12. I was sort of talking about the 12, 112 figure up towards 1240 support band. That has been broken this morning, actually. And we're now sort of trading pretty much decisively below it, although it's not too badly below it. I mean, it does sort of now, in all honesty, reopen the top of the old support band, 111 area. Sort of reopens that area, but to be honest, you'd look at these momentum indicators, you'd say they're sort of more drifting than the sharply correcting. I wouldn't say that the selling pressure is all that massive at the moment. I think it's obviously considered because, I mean, it's like 20-30 pips a day of downside. And again, what we're looking at, about 30 odd pips to the downside today. So it is obviously drifting lower, but is it drifting lower in a big sort of beginning of a dollar strengthening move? I'm not entirely convinced it is. I think it's going to sort of drift back and maybe come back towards this 111 figure support area, and I'd be interested to see if that's the point at which we start to see the buying pressure coming back in, because I still think that this shift in the Fed policy is going to be ultimately driving a weaker dollar, and it certainly is prohibitive, I think, to dollar strength. And at the moment, we've just had this minor reaction from a few FOMC member comments. These aren't voting members, so ultimately I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference to the outcome of the April meeting. But I think ultimately we're going to see just this drift back towards the support around 111 as sort of the move unwinds. And I think so. Obviously, we've got near-term negative direction and momentum. Looking at the hourly RSI, I'd say under 60 is where the failures cap, and back towards 30. MACD line's under neutral. Stochastics also going towards oversold. So, I mean, you've got the near-term negative momentum still in place, and I think there's a possibility for further downside. Is this correct? But I'm not entirely convinced it's going to go sort of too far below, and maybe it could come back towards that 111 figure area, and I'd be interested to see whether the support then comes in, because I think that is still going to be your key long-term pivot band between 110.50 and 111. So I wish you good luck in your trading on Euro today. I hope that helps, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.